Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
Have you ever had your furnace go out?
No.
Never?
No.
Fuck you. I have lived here for 6 years, 6.5 now, and it's gone out 3 times.
What the fuck?
The first time it needed a new, I don't remember what, and he slapped some new parts in there.
A piece. It needed a part. Okay.
It needed one part, and then I tricked him into giving me a new other part.
Nice.
Yeah, because that other part was like $250. So it was covered under the warranty. I had a home warranty, so the first time he came, $100. Everything done. The second time, me and the beast were up in the kitchen, and I smelled some plasticky burning scent. And I went, oh, shit. I ran downstairs, and there was smoke coming off the motherboard of the furnace.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck caused it, but yeah. So,
it just couldn't take the pressure anymore.
I don't know. It was old. It's an old furnace. So then that time, home warranty, $100. Got the fucker replaced.
Is that center point energy thing? What's that, Home Plus or whatever it's called?
No, it's I had an Edina home warranty because Edina Realty sold me my house.
Really?
They're in the warranty game. Well, the seller has to kind of sweeten the pot with that, and they did because they knew that they sold me a house with a non-functioning washing machine, and the realtor for the previous owner was the granddaughter of the previous owner, who tried to pull a fast one and tell me, well, we got the home warranty, so I know that last night when you went to check the house for the final walkthrough, the washer didn't work. Just wait a week and call them and say it went out, and then you'll get a new washer.
Meanwhile, I can't wash my clothes for a week.
Right. Meanwhile, you're asking me to commit fraud, you stupid bitch. I should turn you into the goddamn state realtors board.
You know, I've had washers. I had my washer go out, and I had a water heater start leaking on me. That's it. Dishwasher fucked up, too. That was expensive. That was not under any kind of warranty or plan or anything like that. That was $450. Took the guy 2 fucking minutes to switch it out. By the time I went downstairs, turned on my computer, printed out a coupon for $20 off, he was done, and it was $450 minus $20.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I was fuming.
That's terrible, because 2 weeks ago now, when we first got that real cold snap, it started to creep down into the 30s. We had that week of 70s, and then it was cold thereafter.
Yeah.
And then one day the furnace was, in the morning, the wife's like, is that thing blowing up cool air? I'm like, nah, just give it a minute. Just turned on. Let it warm up. I slept. I woke up. I'm on the computer by the window. The fucking thing comes on. I'm like, the fuck? It was blowing cool air. So I called my old man. Go down and check the pilot light. Fucker was out.
How'd it go out?
I have no idea. And it was ironic because the night before, a friend of mine, her furnace was out for some reason. She was waiting like a week and a half to get somebody in. But since my dad does this shit, I could get him to come look at it right away. It's always like a week and a half. Unless it's, quote, an emergency.
It's winter.
Right. Well, the thing of it is every time somebody's furnace goes out, they're always like, why does this always happen when it's cold? I don't know. Maybe because most people don't run their furnace in the fucking summer, genius. I mean, that's absolutely retarded. Yay! So what you tell somebody if you need your furnace fixed is it's an emergency. I have children. And they'll fucking bump you towards the top of the list, usually.
I just call my dad because he does the same thing.
Right. So Roger, the Wonder Fix-It man, comes over and he can't get the pilot to light. And then he's like, well, I'm going to try something. I'm going to switch out a part. And I went to go, I don't know where, pick up little E and the baby. And I come back and he's like, okay, well, I switched the part. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you switched out the part? Where'd you get it? I ran to Ace. He changed the thermocouple. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's this little fucking wiry piece that connects around by the pilot light. And as long as that's hot enough, it communicates to the furnace's motherboard that it's hot enough and you need to push gas now. It won't give it gas if it's not hot enough.
Okay.
So it also communicates with the gas valve. So he changes the thermocouple and he tries to light it. You got to hold down the button and light the pilot and hold it for a minute. 3 tries. Doesn't fucking work.
Did they shut your gas off?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure you're paying your gas bill. My furnace actually doesn't have a pilot light. It's a brand new furnace. It's got like a glow plug system. But
I don't even know what that means, but lucky you.
Well, when your ex pretty much sets your house on fire, you get all new appliances.
Burn in hell!
So he takes it apart again and checks it. And then it's time to put it back on. I'm like, I want to take a stab at putting this thing back together because I've never monkeyed with one of these. All I have to do is put 2 little bolts that are like 1/8 of an inch long only,
Okay.
into these 2 little holes of a plate, and then screw them in, and they meet another bracket part that holds it in place. I spent 45 minutes trying to do it.
Well, I just couldn't.
Because there are other
Get it in the
pieces in
hole.
the way. Like the housing that forces the gas out. For lack of a better term, the jets that push the gas through
Yeah, I
are in the way. And I'm in there with a fucking screwdriver and a stubby screwdriver and a fucking weird angled screwdriver, and I can't get it. And then I switch the screws, and I switch them back, and I can't get it. You honestly need to have small little Asian girl hands to get in there comfortably and work. Because if you have man hands, and I have moderate-sized hands for a man. My dad's got big goddamn sausage fingers. But I went upstairs out of frustration and mad that he told me, just let me do it. Well, fuck you. I'm already this far into it. I want to conquer this thing.
Were you having an off day?
I might have been. Fuck. And then he gets it, and he's putting it back together, and it still won't light. So I walk away, and he starts tinkering with something else. He's like, I think I'm going to try replacing the gas valve. Okay. Thermocouple, $16. The gas valve brought the total to around $200 for parts.
Jesus.
Right. And even when he had the gas valve, it wouldn't stay lit. So I'm like, so you just replaced $100 and some part possibly for nothing? He's like, well, I mean, you got a spare one now, the old one, if you need it. Yes, because that's what I want. When the new part fails, I want to put the old shitty part back
I was
in.
gonna say, put the shit one back in there. I'll hang on to the new one.
And here's where I almost had a rage fit. He's like, oh, you know how we were fighting with those 2 screws? Yeah. Well, that bracket that you were trying to screw them into, look at this. There's another bolt, and if we would have taken that out, we could have done it outside of the furnace and then bolted it back in. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're a master plumber, and you work on appliances like it's nothing, and now you suddenly can't figure out troubleshooting, and you didn't realize there was another fucking bolt holding this bracket in place, and you watched me fight and swear and just get angrier and angrier for 45 minutes before you did it yourself.
It's probably entertainment for him.
No, he was getting frustrated watching me. If something doesn't get fixed, like lickety-split right away, he starts getting all anxious and like he's going to,
Jesus fucking Christ, Jmann, why can't you get it in there?
He doesn't fucking talk to me that way. He's
No.
like, well, why don't you just let me do it? Why don't you just let me do it? You're not getting it, I'll try it. Like, I don't want you to try it. I want to fucking pull it off.
Cocksucker!
So I'm already in a shitty mood, and then the fucking gas valve isn't keeping the son of a bitch lit. And he went home. So this is 3rd night now without a furnace.
Jesus.
The wife and the stepdaughter and the baby had slept at the in-laws where they used to live before we got married. So I got the house to myself in the morning. I'm fine. I can put on clothes. I can sleep in my bed. I don't give a shit. And he comes back the next day. He's like, I looked on the internet and it says it could be this, it could be that.
Well, yeah, on the internet, it could be fucking anything.
So he starts fucking around with other stuff, and then he's talking about wires, and he bought this new, some fucking tubey thing, some pressure hose. Because he tried blowing into the pressure hose, like, I don't know, like he was trying to fucking siphon gas, except usually you suck the hose instead of blow into it. And so he tried that. He's like, I think I might have broke it, so why don't we get a new one of those?
Thanks.
54 more fucking dollars a day appliance.
Jesus.
And he's like, well, it turns out that the other one was fine, so, I mean, I can't return it. So you got a spare one if you need it. Yes, because that's what I need. I need to have my own warehouse of spare parts for shit that's probably only going to last another 2 or 3 years before I get rid of it. And then I just got spare parts for a furnace I don't have anymore. And money I don't need to fucking spend.
That's insane.
It is insane. So I went to work and I fucking did some Googling of my own. And within 5 minutes, I went, I bet you that's it. We came home. I had him come over. I'm like, here's what you do. Take the thermocouple. It should be in position. Hold down the button. light the pilot, hold the fucker for 5 minutes, and push the thermocouple closer to the flame. It's got to get hot enough to communicate that there's gas flowing before it'll keep the sumbitch lit.
So it just came down to you weren't trying to reignite it properly.
He wasn't.
Or he
I don't
wasn't.
fucking do
You know what
that.
I mean.
You know, the master plumber couldn't fucking figure this shit out. And I don't know this, but I'm savvy enough to go Google the right terms. Like, I did pilot light won't stay lit on furnace. And I rattled through 5 options in 5 minutes. And I figured it out. And then I read 2 more very similar articles to the one that I had seen and watched a couple of videos. I'm like, I bet you that's it. He tries it, sure as shit. That's it. That was the missing fucking piece.
You know, I mean, your father is a master plumber, but it is different than doing HVAC, which is what my dad does.
Right.
So.
Well, he also does a great deal of HVAC stuff.
I don't know if he does or doesn't.
No, he does. He wouldn't try this shit if he didn't know. But he's like, well, you might have to call somebody. I'm like, I
called you.
I asked you because you know this shit. So I had set up this fucking Blue Ox to come in, and then we figured it out. So then I canceled the goddamn appointment with Blue Ox, or I tried, because I called Benjamin Franklin, which is who I called the first time. And suddenly I call the Coon Rapids location, and I get New Hope. And then I call the main line, and I get no answer. And then I call the New Hope again, and it sends me to a routing station of calls. And she's like, oh, yeah, that was Blue Ox, not Benjamin Franklin. I'll cancel the order.
You know, that's why I'm not going to do business with U-Haul ever again.
Because
I was trying to get an appointment to have a Class 2 hitch put on the van when we first bought the boat.
Uh-huh.
And I would call and made an appointment. They're like, yep, we have appointments available on this day. And it was like a Saturday or a Sunday. And I go to the place, like, yep, I'm here for my appointment. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, why? I scheduled an appointment for you guys to put a hitch on. It's like, it's Saturday. Our master mechanic isn't here. He's not here on the weekends. Like, but they said they would be. Well, that's the center. That's a call center down in like Arizona. I'm like, what? They don't have your guys' schedule? Like, no, we don't have any. So, okay, fine. So I was like, I called, make a different appointment, and I double checked with this dumb bitch on the phone who talked a little bit like this. And she's like, yep, this store.
Real quick, was she black or Cajun, you think?
I'm thinking she was black.
Okay, go on.
So just picture that. She's like, this location at this time on this day. It's like, again, it was a Saturday. I was like, okay. So I get off the phone with her. The day comes to the appointment. I call the place up, be like, hey, I got most of it on. I was trying to get it on myself, but I just need you guys to do this one part. And they're like, okay, well, you have to call and make an appointment. I says, well, I have an appointment for today at 3. This is like 12:30. And they're like, we don't have appointments for this. I was like, what do you mean? Well, we don't do appointment week. And this is a totally different place. I mean, it's U-Haul, but there's one in like Coon Rapids, and then there's one in like Blaine, so it was a totally different store. I was like, the call center said that you had appointments, this, that, the other, same fucking routine. He goes, no, we don't do appointments on weekends. It's just weekdays only from like 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. That's when the master mechanic is there. I'm like, fuck your company. The bitch told me, yep, definitely this store right here. This is the address, and so I won't fight. Fuck you. If you can't get me the right information and get me appointments that I can actually make.
What use are you?
Well, yeah, it's
shitty. The saga with the furnace is not over yet, though.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Even though the problem got solved, the next night I thought I smelled a little bit of gas. Not the egg gas of natural gas, like improperly burned gas.
Oh, so
it kind of went away. It was at the top of the stairs by the back door, and then it went away. And the next day, me and the wife come home, and we were going to hang out before I went to work. And, we smelled gas again. So I called the old man. And as soon as I said to the old man, I think I smelled gas, he's like, what kind of gas? In the background, you hear this, tell him to get out of the house immediately. Tell him to get out. No, get out now. Tell him now. Get out. Here's my mom screaming in the background. I'm trying to fucking have a conversation with somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing, allegedly. And then I got her armchair quarterbacking it in the background, screaming at the side of his face.
Yeah, stay out of it.
Fucking annoying. And then he comes over and spends an hour and a half disassembling all the parts he just fucking put back in.
Oh, God.
Right. And then he gets it all back together, and he relights the pilot, and he checks a few more connections, and everything was fucking fine.
Did you do the soapy water test?
The what? The who now?
Well, you take water, you put like dish soap in it, and then you put it over all the connections for the piping to see if there's any leaks, because the soap will bubble up.
I've never heard of that, and it sounds dangerous and hokey.
No, it's when where I worked before, they would assemble these big gas pipe junctions for well, I guess I don't know how to describe it, but where big gas mains come together, you see the piping comes out of the ground and it loops over, and there's valves, and then there's another pipe that comes out. They would build these things where I worked. They would weld them, and they would bolt them together, and they would test them that way to make sure that there was no leaks, and then they would X-ray the damn things. So, but yeah, it's just soapy water.
I returned the part that he said was non-returnable. The receipt said 45 days if unused. And I was going to leave for the morning. Came back home after dropping the juice at school. Chi-Chi's waiting in the car in the garage. I come back in to grab the part. I'm about to leave. The box is in pristine condition. My foot slips off the landing and goes down a step. I fucking crush part of the box with my hand, almost falling down the fucking steps. And then we get there, and she looks at the box. I'm like, I promise you, it's not used. The box looked in perfect condition until about 20 minutes ago when I was leaving the house, and I almost took a gainer down the damn steps. And she laughed. She's like, okay. So she issues me the refund for the $54, which goes back to my dad's credit card. So I didn't owe him any more money.
That's
and
good.
then I call him and tell him, like, hey, remember that part you said I couldn't return? I fucking returned it just now. Oh, they're going to take it back? I'm like, no, past tense. They took it back. Well, I cut a section of hose off of that, right? And then attached it to yours. I'm like, I was not aware of that.
Oh, well.
But they gave me the money back and they got the part. So all's well that ends well.
I'm pretty sure they'll look at, that looks right, and stick it back in the box and sell it.
So now, listening to how my dad had such trouble figuring out a simple problem that I was able to figure out myself on the internet, do you have any worries about the way my father plumbed your bathroom in the basement?
No, because that's all under the concrete.
Right, because we know that everything underground always stays the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever cracks, breaks, or wells up. One day you could come into your bathroom in the basement and there could be a shit geyser spraying out from underneath the toilet.
Oh, God, now you're making me worry.
Yeah, well, knock on wood. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.